Hi, it's Mike. How you guys doing today? I hope you're well. Today, I just was looking at through the book and decided to come up with a random problem to go over. So today, I was going to go over number 5D. In chapter 5, part D, numbers 27 and 28. Okay, and now in this problem. We go and we start with the same thing we always say, okay? We want to go with our directions. I've changed them up just a little bit, but first you want to read the problem. This one is very important problem to read. There's a lot to read. There's a whole thing you have to read above the map that you need to read in order to do the problem. The second thing that you want to do is to write out the problem. Now here, I've written it out a little bit. This is my notes on it. This is what I'm going to talk about with you guys, okay? And this is my sketch, okay? So here is like point A, here's point B, here's point C, here's point D. And each one of these little lines, if you read the top, they said, oh, remember how when you read the problem and you write the problem, okay, we go back to this. When you write the problem, you were supposed to write down every time they give you a number, right? Well, when you read that little paragraph they gave you a thing that I called delta H. Anyway, it was a natural thing for me to want to call it delta H, and that was the triangle H that I just showed you. And the delta means the change. That's why I used delta. So delta H meant change in height to me, and that's what I named that. And in that figure, it says that the change in height is 40 feet. If you go on and read it correctly, it says every time you take a step or move a line that you have moved 40 feet. Okay, so that's good. We've done everything so far. We've read it. We've read it down. Now it's time to set it up. And I hope that one of the first things that, of course, that strikes you about what's happening is being calm and just kind of patiently going through this. And that I think. Going through it in a systematic order, that's a good thing to do. Okay, so here we go. It's now time to set it up. All right, here we go. Okay. It asks you, how do you know from A to B is going up or down, or what from A to B is? What is it? Okay, and then it asks you, it has the gall to ask you, how do you know that? Okay, well, the answer is, of course, I read their little thing, and it says in their little thing that A is supposed to be the summit or the top of the mountain. Okay, and then you look at that and going from the one top of the mountain to the other top of the mountain, and you notice that there's two contour lines there that they are probably at the same time altitude. They are probably a twin peak, or it might be B is lower. Who knows? It depends. No, they are both at the same height. Okay, but then the next thing you notice with me setting it up is look how I'm phrased this question, going from A to C. Okay, and do you see how I phrased that to myself. I put point A, and then like what that meant, and then an arrow going to C. So there's no question of whether I was going from C to A or from A to C. No, I was clearly going from A to C in those note takings, right? So here I've just shown this because it's easier to see because I've been able to magnify it. But going from point A here, you go past 2 lines to get to point C, right? Okay, so in my diagram, that was 2 steps. Now, in your diagram, going from A to C, when I counted it, I came up with negative 16, okay? Now, negative 16, why the negative? Okay, well, that was the thing we just answered a minute ago, which was going, since A is the summit, clearly going from A to C is downhill, right? At any rate. The next thing it asks you is going from B to D. Now I went ahead and counted it out, and again it ended up being negative 16. Okay, it was down 16. Okay, it's important that as you watch me being systematic, you notice, woo, you notice that I'm keeping track of my negatives, up or down. B to D was down, so was A to C. D to F, when it asks me that one, I noticed that one was actually going up. And so D to F, I actually list as a positive 6. Okay. Now, 28 is, of course, very similar, okay? But now it asks you to do E to F, okay? And, well, you notice the E to F they were both on the same line. Okay, well, if that's the case, then they were equal, weren't they? Okay, they were equal. How do you know? Because I read. All right. At any rate, you also did hear me explain my reasoning because they were on the same line. Now, we have for the last part of this going from A to C. By my count, and I am going blind. I might not be seeing too good, but that was down 17 steps. Okay, going from D to A, that was up 17 steps. Okay, and then the math teacher can't help but to point out to you. Did you notice the associative property? Since C was equal to D, A to C and D to back to A, they were the same elevation change, right? Anyway, that was the associative property in action, back from chapter 1. Okay, and so now the last thing on our sheet, we've set it up. We've actually went all the way through it. It's now time to find the answer. Usually we don't have to worry about units, but oddly enough with this particular problem, we did, didn't we? And so here I wanted to show my my unit problem going from D to A. Okay, oh, you'd have 17 steps. Was it positive or negative? Oh, well, going from D to A was going to be uphill, wasn't it? Okay, so it was positive. Now, this means something, the positive or negative, doesn't it? Okay, the next thing is I wrote out a formula. Change in elevation. Notice I wanted to do delta again. Delta E, and I came up with a formula, and I showed it here. Steps is delta H, and then I wrote it down this way. But then I got to thinking, well, how very unclever of me. I should have been doing the bracket system. Now here you could tell that 40 feet had to go on top because steps needed to cancel out in order to give me answers of feet. Can't you? Okay, now of course you can find the answer for yourself. I forgot to do that, but it's interesting here at the last moment that you would think that the units weren't that big a deal, but indeed that was a part of it. All right, and so I hope that you kind of are starting to see a trend, and then there's one last thing I wanted to show you. And that's this. Whoa. Oh, look. It's the Shenandoah Mountains. And I know this is a terrible thing to show you, but it's a contour map. You can purchase these sometimes at nature stores, or I think I got this one in the Shenandoahs, of course. But at any rate, that allows you to see the contours of the mountains, and so you've probably seen something like that before. But at any rate, so I hope that you find this interesting, and good luck on your lessons. And we'll talk to you soon. Bye.